This is TechCrunch. This episode is brought to you by Claude AI. Running a business means meetings, and lots of them. I always wear my lucky blue shirt to meetings because it kind of grounds me a little bit. But something else you might find useful is Claude. You see, it's a sleek, smart device that acts as a note-taker for your meeting, and a pretty exceptional one. It's a tiny gadget you can wear or add to your phone as an accessory that records, transcribes, and it even summarizes key points and action items. So act on behalf of the NAACP. The company recently raised $10 billion, split evenly between debt and equity. The permit issued by the Shelby County Health Department says that XAI can operate 15 solar SMT-130 generators with certain emissions controls, which can generate up to 247 megawatts. The company has already been operating 8 of the same models without permits, according to the SELC, though the group added that the ones in operation do have the appropriate pollution controls. Under the conditions of the permit, XAI will still be allowed to emit significant amounts of pollution on a rolling 12-month basis, including 87 tons of smog-forming nitrogen oxides, 94 tons of carbon monoxide, 85 tons of volatile organic compounds, 73 tons of particulate pollution, and nearly 14 tons of hazardous air pollutants, including 9.8 tons of formaldehyde, a known carcinogen. The company is required to keep its own emissions records. Before the permit was issued, a Memphis community group said that it had $250,000 in funds to pay for an independent air quality study. Google on Thursday said it's begun rolling out its VO3 video generation model to Gemini users in more than 159 countries. Video generation via the new model is available only to paying subscribers of Google's AI Pro plan and is capped at 3 videos per day. VO3, which Google showed off in May, lets users generate videos up to 8 seconds long using text prompts. Google's Josh Woodward has said that the company is working on adding image-to-video generation capabilities to Gemini. Earlier this week, Instagram Threads launched what the company said was its most requested feature to date, direct messages, also known as DMs. However, the company is now facing a bit of a user backlash over the addition, as users, primarily women, are arguing that there should be a way to opt out of DMs entirely, citing harassment concerns. Although DMs are a part of other social networks similar to Threads, including X, Blue Sky, Mastodon, and others, some Threads users appreciated that there wasn't an option previously. Many others replied to the announcement about DMs, which was shared on Threads by Instagram head Adam Mosseri. Across dozens of posts, some of these users wrote they didn't want DMs or claimed that nobody asked for this. One person pointed to a poll with thousands of votes where Threads users indicated they overwhelmingly would have preferred not to have a DM feature. Several asked if there was a way to turn the feature off. There is not. Now, while harassment is one concern, others worry about inboxes flooded with bots, spam, and other unwelcome outreach. Meta may have found that by tying DMs to followers, it was giving users a way to decide who could reach them more privately. But what the company failed to understand is that on a public social network like Threads, users may find themselves following people whose posts and opinions they want to read, but who, as strangers, they'd rather keep their distance from. Now to the latest in startup business news, all in about 1 minute with producer Dennis.
Thank you, Imran. And as a parent, it can be daunting to hand over a smart device to their tween when a myriad of online dangers exist. Pinwheel, a kid-friendly tech company, is introducing a new solution for parents who want to stay connected with their children without giving them a phone. The Pinwheel Watch is a recently launched smartwatch designed specifically for kids aged 7 to 14, offering a child-safe alternative that prevents access to social media and the internet. It features parental management tools, GPS tracking, a camera, voice-to-text messaging, fun mini-games, and, to no one's surprise, an AI chatbot. It's currently priced at $160 with a $15 monthly subscription. It became available for purchase on pinwheel.com last week, and we've been testing it over the past few days. And that'll do it for me, Imran. back to you.
And that's your Daily Crunch. Today's stories were reported by Sarah Perez, Tim Deshant, Ivan Mehta, and more beautiful, lovely TechCrunch journalists. We'll see you here tomorrow, same tech time, same Crunch channel, and until then, find us at TechCrunch.com.
U.S. TikTok users may soon have to switch to a new version of the app. Samsung's Texas chip plant is reportedly delayed due to lack of customers. And the Stop Killing Games initiative has hit a major milestone, but the fight has just begun. It's Monday, July 7th, and here's a quick look at tech in the news this morning from Engadget. ByteDance is said to be building a new US-only version of the TikTok app that it will release on September 5th. According to the information, the company is moving ahead with this plan to comply with legislation requiring it to sell its TikTok business in the US or face a nationwide ban. The report suggests that folks in the US will have to switch to the new app, dubbed M2, in order to keep using TikTok. It said that ByteDance will remove the existing TikTok app, which the company internally calls M, from U.S. app stores when the new one debuts. It is believed that the current version of the app will stop working in the U.S. next March, though that timeline may shift. This is the latest development in the long-running saga over the future of TikTok in the U.S. A law that former President Joe Biden signed last year gave ByteDance a deadline of January 19th to sell its U.S. TikTok business or face a ban in the country. President Donald Trump took office on January 20th and swiftly paused enforcement of the law, and he has delayed it twice more since. As things stand, the ban is set to take effect on September 17th. In late June, Trump said there was a buyer in place for TikTok's U.S. operations. He claimed that a group of very wealthy people is set to buy the app, and that the identity of the collective would become clear in about 2 weeks, so around July 13th. Trump added that the deal would likely need approval from the Chinese government, since ByteDance is based in China, but said on Friday that he was not confident of getting it rubber stamped. On Monday, a Chinese government spokesperson dodged a question related to Trump's claims. Samsung has reportedly pushed back the completion of its semiconductor plant in Taylor, Texas, because it has no customers. According to Nikkei Asia, the company is in no hurry to install equipment in the facility due to lack of clients, and even though the facility is over 90% done. The factory was supposed to come online last year, but the company has since pushed back its opening date to sometime next year to upgrade its foundry process. Samsung's fab was only supposed to be able to manufacture 4 nanometer chipsets, but the company adjusted its plans to give it the capability to manufacture more advanced 2 nanometer chips to be able to compete with rivals like TSMC. Still, the problem persisted. If you'll recall, the plant in Taylor is part of Samsung's planned $44 billion investment in Texas. When the Biden administration announced that it was giving Samsung up to $6.4 billion in grants as part of the CHIPS Act funding, the company said that the money was going to be spent finishing up the campus in Taylor. But the facility's development has been troubled for quite a while now. Last year, Reuters reported that Samsung had delayed the deliveries of advanced chip-making equipment from ASML to its Taylor facility, since it had yet to sign up any major customer for the plant. When Samsung cut jobs around the world last year, some jobs from its Texas operations were reportedly also cut due to production delays. And it's not just the company's employees who were affected by the delays. Samsung's suppliers, some of which are small companies, are also impacted and have had to look for other customers while the facility's completion is on hold. While Samsung has assured Nikkei Asia that it's still planning to open the fab next year, analysts previously called that into question, seeing as it has yet to land volume clients. In fact, a South Korean publication claimed in April that Samsung is now targeting a February 2027 opening date instead of next year. The publication said that in addition to the lack of customers, Samsung's contractors